objection, objection, objection.
It's when someone disagrees or doesn't agree with something that's being said or done, usually because they think it's wrong or unfair. Here is a sample sentence. The lawyer raised an objection to the judge's ruling, arguing that it was based on incorrect evidence. In this example, objection refers to a formal protest or disagreement with something, in this case, the judge's ruling.
Objective, objective, objective.
It's something that exists or happens, regardless of what people think or feel about it. It's a fact or reality that can be seen or known, without any personal opinions getting in the way. Here's a sample sentence. The news reporter tried to remain objective in her reporting, presenting both sides of the story without taking a personal stance. In this example, objective means unbiased or impartial, and refers to the reporter's attempt to present information in a neutral and factual way.
Obligation, obligation, obligation.
It's something you have to do because someone or something expects you to, and you feel responsible for doing it. Here is a sample sentence. The company felt a strong obligation to its customers to provide reliable and efficient service. In this example, obligation refers to a duty or responsibility that the company feels it must fulfill.
Oblige, oblige, oblige.
This word means to make someone do something they might not want to do, but is considered polite or necessary. It's like asking for a favor that you think is reasonable. Here is a sample sentence. The host felt it was her duty to oblige her guests by offering them a tour of the house. In this sentence, oblige means to do something as a courtesy or out of a sense of responsibility.
Obliterate, obliterate, obliterate.
This word means to completely destroy or erase something so that nothing is left behind. Here is a sample sentence. The powerful tornado was capable of obliterating an entire city block with its intense winds and flying debris. In this example, obliterating means to completely destroy or wipe out something, in this case, a city block, so that it no longer exists.
Oblong, oblong, oblong.
This shape is longer than it is wide, but not as long as it would be if it were perfectly straight. It's like a rectangle that's been stretched out a bit more in one direction. Here is a sample sentence. The oblong shape of the new sports stadium's field made it difficult to determine which end was the goal line. In this example, oblong describes the shape of the stadium's field as being elongated and not perfectly rectangular.
Obscure, obscure, obscure.
This word means something that is not well known or understood by most people. It's often used to describe things that are hard to find or figure out. Here is a sample sentence. The artist's obscure style, which blended elements of surrealism and cubism, was not widely understood by critics until many years after her death. In this example, obscure means difficult to understand or interpret.
Observance, observance, observance.
It's the act of paying attention to something, like following rules or customs, and doing what is expected. Here is a sample sentence. The monastery's strict observance of traditional rituals and customs was an important part of its identity. In this example, observance refers to the act of following or adhering to rules, customs, or practices.
Observe, observe, observe.
To notice something that is happening or exists without changing it. Here is a sample sentence. The astronomer spent hours observing the stars through her telescope, taking note of their movements and patterns. This sentence demonstrates the word observe in action, showing someone actively paying attention to something, in this case, the stars, and noting details about it.
Obstacle, obstacle, obstacle.
It's something that gets in the way or blocks progress, making it harder to achieve what you want. Here is a sample sentence. The steep hill was an obstacle that made it difficult to hike up with my heavy backpack.
Obstinate, obstinate, obstinate.
This word describes someone who refuses to change their mind or do something, even when it's clear that they should. They can be stubborn and hard to convince. Here's a sample sentence. After being told multiple times to clean his room, Tommy remained obstinate and refused to put away his toys. In this example, obstinate means stubbornly refusing to change one's opinion or behavior, even when faced with evidence or persuasion to the contrary.
Obstruction, obstruction, obstruction.
It's something that gets in the way or blocks something from happening. Here is a sample sentence. The construction crew encountered an unexpected obstruction in the form of a hidden underground pipe, which delayed their work by several hours. In this example, obstruction refers to something that blocks or hinders progress. In this case, a physical barrier, the pipe, that prevented the crew from continuing with their work.
Obtain, obtain, obtain.
This word means to get or receive something, often by making an effort or using some kind of process. Here is a sample sentence. She was able to obtain a scholarship to study abroad by submitting a strong application and essay. In this sentence, obtain means to get or acquire something, in this case, a scholarship, through effort or action.
Obtainable, obtainable, obtainable.
This word means something that can be gotten or achieved, but not necessarily easily. It's possible to get it, but maybe with some effort or planning. Here's a sample sentence. The new smartphone model's affordable price made it an obtainable luxury item for many consumers.
Obvious, obvious, obvious.
This word refers to something that is clearly true or can be easily seen without needing any special thought or effort. Here is a sample sentence. The fact that it was raining outside was obvious to anyone who looked out the window. In this example, the word obvious means clearly and unmistakably true or apparent.
Occasion, occasion, occasion.
It's an event or situation that happens at a specific time, often special or important in some way. Here is a sample sentence. The wedding was a grand occasion that brought together friends and family from all over the country. In this example, occasion refers to a specific event or celebration, the wedding, and implies a sense of importance or significance.
Occasional, occasional, occasional.
This word refers to something that happens or is done from time to time, but not all the time. It's not regular or usual, but rather something that comes up occasionally. Here is a sample sentence. She only eats at that restaurant occasional, usually when her friends are in town. In this example, occasional means happening or done from time to time, but not regularly.
Occasionally, occasionally, occasionally.
This word means something happens from time to time, but not all the time. It's not always true, but sometimes true. Here is a sample sentence. She occasionally likes to take long walks in the park on Sundays. In this example, occasionally means that she doesn't always do it, but rather does so from time to time. It implies that the activity is not a regular part of her routine, but rather something she enjoys doing every now and then.
Occupation, occupation, occupation.
It's when someone takes control of something that belongs to another person or group, often without their permission. Here is a sample sentence. After graduating from college, she spent several years working in finance before deciding to pursue her true occupation as an artist. In this example, artist is her true or primary occupation.
Occupy, occupy, occupy.
This action means to take control or possession of something, often by being present there. Here is a sample sentence. The protesters decided to occupy the city square in order to draw attention to their cause. In this example, occupy means to take possession or control of a place, often with the intention of staying there for an extended period.